Hey, what's going on everyone? I'm Jakejames Lugo, and welcome to the channel, where you'll find some of the most fair and honest game reviews out here.
Hello there.
And finally, Star Wars fans, we're sitting down to finally talk about Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, the game. This is one I've wanted to do for quite some time because it's a weird example of when a movie-based game, in the traditional sense, comes out before the movie is released. Yeah, I know it's weird, but do our memories serve us well in saying that this game was good? Because so many people love this game, but was it actually good? To say that everyone was hyped for the release of the final Star Wars prequel movie would be a massive understatement. However, before the release of the movie, we got to play through the story in video game form, which fueled the hype even more. Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, the game, was released for the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox in May of 2005. There was also portable versions of the game for the Game Boy Advance, Nintendo DS, and mobile phones, but those were very different games. The story is the same, however. For those that don't already know, by now anyway, Revenge of the Sith follows the story of the fall of Anakin Skywalker and the rise of the Galactic Empire. It's the tail end of the Clone Wars and things reach a climax. The Separatist army is on its last legs, and the Jedi Knights continue their battle for the Republic. Of course, things don't go as smoothly as they'd hope, and everything falls apart as the war comes to an end, only to pave the way for things that come afterwards. The game focuses on the relationship and the conflict between Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi. The perspective constantly switches between the two of them, giving us a look at how things unfold, and eventually bringing together the prequel trilogy with the events of Star Wars Episode 4 A New Hope. So can we safely say that everything works together to create a fun and engaging Star Wars game? Yes, it does, but from a certain point of view.
I don't believe that. And you're sounding like a separatist.
So because this game came out before the official release of the film, there are some wild differences between the story of what happens in the movie and what we actually see that goes on in the game itself. But here's the funny thing, there's some awesome results of this where it actually works out in favor of the game, where we get to see more fights and more other stuff that we just don't get in the movie. Perfect example of this is a fight with Mace Windu between him and Anakin Skywalker, which is not in the movie, but we get a full fight in the game, which is freaking awesome. One other thing I should mention too is that there is some extended scenes that are in the movie itself, but they don't play out in the same way as in the game. We actually get a better fight scene between Obi-Wan Kenobi and General Grievous, which is a little bit much more drawn out, and if anything has some really cool scenes in it that the film did its own thing, but the game I felt did it a little bit better. Something else that's also different that we get in the film, but we don't get so much in the game, we don't get to see a lot of what's going on with the Senate, with Chancellor Palpatine, as well as also Padme Amidala. We just get to see more stuff focused between Obi-Wan and Anakin, which is fine. Again, this is a game and we're really just playing as those two characters, but also at the same time, Padme doesn't appear on Mustafar in the game. She's actually not present in the game whatsoever, even though she's in the film. That was possibly due to avoid spoilers and stuff. Again, the game came out before the movie, so there was bound to be differences like that, but it really didn't bother me too much. A lot of the stuff, again, is focused more on Anakin and Obi-Wan and how their relationship breaks down. But enough about the story. Let's get to the good stuff that a lot of people love about Revenge of the Sith. At least a bunch of people say that it's really good. The gameplay. Was the gameplay of this game, this movie-based game, was it really good or did it suck? Honestly, it could go either way depending on where you're coming from a certain point of view. Let me start by saying that it's fun to control a Jedi and swing around a lightsaber in Revenge of the Sith, but not everything is executed as perfectly as Order 66 was in the film, especially in terms of the game's controls and occasional unresponsiveness.
I have a bad feeling about this. I've got a bad feeling about this.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Oh, I have a bad feeling about this.
Unfortunately, there are moments where your controller inputs get dropped, bugs and glitches can mess things up, and frame rate problems go in and out during gameplay. On the flip side, however, what the game does very well is letting you battle legions of battle droids as both Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi, either alone or with a friend. There's a lot of lightsaber combat, which is cool because of the variety of attacks you can do in battle. Between Obi-Wan and Anakin, there are a few differences in their move lists and force powers, but other than that, they essentially control the same.
What?
Now, the game's story mode covers key events from Revenge of the Sith, from the rescue of Chancellor Palpatine to the events on Mustafar. Every level has you fighting groups of enemies and reaching locations to battle larger bosses or engage in duels. Battle droids and other enemies come at you in packs, sometimes spawning infinitely until you cross a certain point within a level. I like how you have free movement around the areas that you fight in, despite the game being mostly linear. Some parts will require you to use the Force to open up new areas or interact with the environment in different ways. I should also mention that the boss fights vary depending on the level. Sometimes you'll fight a big enemy with some allies, and others you'll be in a lightsaber duel against an opponent. If I'm being real, however, most of these fights wind up being mediocre and janky. There's some bad collision issues, which can lead to you getting hurt and force you to redo a stage. Stuff like this is made worse when you're dealing with enemies that have these lame gimmicks which prevent them from taking damage. If you're clever, however, then you could dispatch them pretty quickly, but they definitely get annoying the first time you encounter them. Although I mostly didn't play the game in co-op for this review, in my experience playing this over the years, there's very little differences from when you're playing the game alone.
Take a seat, young Skywalker.
So the one thing that everybody remembers about the Episode 3 game was the lightsaber dueling mode, which is the versus mode of this game. I played so much of this growing up, especially before the movie came out, and many other people did too. However, the big thing with this is that it suffers from the same problems that you get from the single-player story mode. There's just a lot of bugs and glitches that happen in various different stages while you're going through the duel. And the other thing too that really annoys me that I don't think enough people talk about, the AI for the CPU could be super cheap, especially on the harder difficulties. It just gets insane with its reaction time, its ability to parry, as well as also just the level of damage that you get from some attacks. It's just really unbalanced. It's all over the place. I feel like maybe a little bit of testing would have really tweaked that a little bit to make it much more solid, even though I still feel that this mode is still a lot of fun to play through. As an offshoot of that, even though I like the roster of characters that we get from here, which are pretty much all these characters from Episode 3, I do wish that there were some other characters. I wish that maybe there was some Legends nods or Expanded Universe stuff, or even some other Jedi that were in the movie, but we just don't see a lot of them. Like, where's Kurt Fisto? Like, where's, Shaak Ti? Where's all these other characters that apparently were in Revenge of the Sith, even though some of them were in deleted scenes, but were still there, or at least alive during that time frame? I feel like they could have gone a little bit further with that, maybe offer maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 more other characters, but still, I feel like at least we got a decent amount of characters to play with, even though I wanted more personally. So besides all of that, what about the extra content in Revenge of the Sith? Is it any good, or does it yield some awesome rewards from having gone through all this stuff probably multiple times, right? I mean, there's some stuff that's there, and it's cool, but McClunky? Outside of the story and the versus mode, Revenge of the Sith also has a few bonus missions you could play through. But while it's neat to unlock this stuff, completing them really yields almost no rewards. There's some concept art in the gallery, which can also be unlocked by fighting hidden Jedi icons within the story mode. But the bonus missions don't always give you something for completing them the first time. The only major reward comes from the bonus mission with Darth Vader and Obi-Wan on the Death Star from A New Hope. Finishing that bonus mission unlocks Darth Vader and old Obi-Wan Kenobi in the versus mode. You can only get this mission when you complete the main story mode and complete the alternate final battle ending. Yeah, you heard that right. There's an alternate ending to the fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan on Mustafar that you could play through. However, the outcome you get comes off as mediocre. Don't get me wrong, I like that we get this change up to the final battle, but I would have loved to see it taken even further and show how it changes the future of the Star Wars galaxy. As far as other bonus goodies are concerned, it's very shallow. What you see here is all you get.
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them!
One other little nitpick that I have about the bonus content in this game is that we don't have a manual way to change to alternate outfits in the versus dueling mode. I just find that to be really weird, and you need to have a second player or a CPU in order to change into the alternate outfit for these characters. It just feels like something that is just shouldn't be that way. I should be able to switch between outfits if I want to. But even besides that, I would have loved if we got alternate outfits for the entire roster. Like, give me more than like 3 or 4 outfits for every single character. Just play around with the different looks of Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Mace Windu. Heck, now that we have Darth Vader and old Ben Kenobi, what about those as well? It would have been really cool to see stuff like that. At the same time, it just would have been awesome if some of the other characters that we got to play as in the bonus missions, i.e. Yoda, would have been sweet to play with them in the dueling mode. It just feels like a bunch of little things that just could have been adjusted, could have been changed up, and it would have made things so much more better. Again, that's just my own personal opinion. Some of you out there might feel a little bit differently. Let me know in the comments down below. But it's little changes like this that I feel like could add so much to a game's experience and just add so much to the value that you get from playing the game. Granted, again, this is a movie-based game that came out before the film, so it was just like all wild territory all over the place. But just little things like that could have done so much more. Regardless of my fandom for A Galaxy Far, Far Away, Can I recommend that you check out Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith the game on any platform? I would say yeah, but with a few notes to that. I feel that there's some good elements about this game, but it has a lot of rough aspects that might get annoying for most players. The bugs and glitches are what stick out to me the most, which hasn't really aged all that well. The lightsaber duels are still cool, and were definitely the basis for inspiration for a lot of future Star Wars games that focused on lightsaber combat. But the janky AI and the dropped inputs might turn some people off. If you love older Star Wars games, you'll still have some fun playing this regardless of the issues that I bring up. Anyone else that was hoping that this was the best game during the prequel era is sadly going to be disappointed. And there you go, everyone. Those are my thoughts about Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, the game on PlayStation 2 anyway, for me personally. But it's also on Xbox, the original Xbox anyway. Yeah, I know a lot of people love this game and they consider it to be a classic. Even though I find it to be very flawed in a lot of different ways, I still played the hell out of this. I'm not even going to front, I'm not even going to lie. I was part of the hype before the release of this movie. I think everybody that was a Star Wars fan was in on this. It was just an exciting time. It was a very weird and different time, especially for Star Wars in general. But we ended up getting games like this, which helped pave the way to other games down the line. I mean, I don't think even without the Revenge of the Sith game, I don't think we would have gotten The Force Unleashed. I don't think we would have gotten some of the other lightsaber-based games or games that had lightsaber combat that were influenced heavily by this game. But of course, like any other game that I review on this channel, that's just my opinion about the Revenge of the Sith game. Let me know your own thoughts about this down below in the comments section. Tell me, are you a big Star Wars fan? Do you love Revenge of the Sith? Do you like Anakin Skywalker or Obi-Wan Kenobi? Which one you like better, by the way? And tell me some of your other favorite Star Wars games, ones that you guys want me to review on this channel at some point, because there's a bunch that I want to get to. Like the biggest one personally for me, I think that a lot of people would agree, is Knights of the Old Republic, and I've been thinking about that one for a while, so maybe sometime down the line, especially if it comes out on Switch, I'll be able to get to that. But regardless though, talk to me about everything down below in the comments section. Thank you very much everyone for watching this video. I appreciate your support and all your good vibes as always. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that bell icon too to support my channel for new videos each week. You could also join my Patreon for early access to brand new videos and other exclusive content. Don't forget to join my Discord server too and be part of the community I have over here. If you're into games, then you'll love interacting with all the great people who are part of it. Thanks again guys, peace out, and stay epic everybody.